The following program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Troy. Wow. Donald Trump just posted probably the worst thing he's ever said on social media, and that is, wow, is that saying something? This is absolutely shocking and disgusting. He posted it yesterday on his failing social media platform, Truth Social, wannabe Twitter that doesn't even work. He's talking about Mitch McConnell and probably Mitch McConnell's vote on the election integrity bill. He's just going off on Mitch McConnell, and then he calls Mitch McConnell's wife an incredibly racist name. Take a look at what he posted. He says, "Is McConnell approving all these trillions of dollars worth of Democrat-sponsored bills without even the slightest bit of negotiation because he hates Donald J. Trump?" So again, it's always got to be about him. "And he knows I am strongly opposed to them. Or is he doing it because he believes in the fake and highly destructive Green New Deal and is willing to take the country down with him? In any event, either reason is unacceptable." And then he says he has a death wish in all caps. And then I'm not even going to read the next sentence because it's so disgusting. He makes a racist comment about McConnell's wife. McConnell's wife is Elaine Chao, who was Trump's Secretary of Transportation for 4 years. She resigned after January 6th. She was part of the wave of cabinet members that resigned in protest right after January 6th. But oh my God, is this is utterly shocking. This is even for Trump. I don't think I've ever seen. He has a death wish. He basically just threatened Mitch McConnell's life. Trump's always kind of danced around violence, especially with like the Mike Pence stuff and saying, Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what is necessary, whatever. Just kind of like egging his supporters on in kind of a weird way. He's never directly called for violence. He's directly saying that Mitch McConnell has a death wish, and he puts it in all caps. In the current political climate, for someone to post something like this is absolutely horrifying. Knowing how violent his supporters have been historically, knowing the tension that's brewing right now in the United States, for Donald Trump he knew exactly what he was doing when he posted this. This is unbelievable. And then he goes on to say something racist, to make a racist comment, just blatantly racist comment about Elaine Chao, Mitch McConnell's wife. This is absolutely embarrassing. This is embarrassing. The fact that this man was our president makes me want to vomit. It leaves just the worst taste in my mouth. Anyone who still supports this man, you are a racist. You are a psychopath, because he is a racist psychopath. Why is this man still walking among us? Why is this man still walking among us? Why do we still have to deal with the presence of Donald Trump? Why? Why do we still have him in our lives? Why is he walking free? Why is he allowed to post things like this? He's clearly a traitor. He's clearly broken many, many laws. He's stolen top secret documents. He's potentially sold them overseas. He's corrupt. He's a liar. He's a racist. He incites violence constantly. He incited an insurrection on the Capitol. And now he's potentially inciting political assassination on his political enemies, on his enemies, because he's got to make everything about him. Everything has to be about him. He's a sick, sick individual, a narcissist, a psychopath, and clearly a racist. And can we stop excusing his followers? Can we finally agree that if you support this man if you still support Donald Trump, you are a racist. You are supporting racism. You are defending comments like this, hurtful, disgusting, racist, blatantly racist comments. You cannot defend what he said about Elaine Chao. You cannot possibly defend that. You cannot possibly spin that to say that that is anything except a disgusting, disgusting, hateful, racist comment. There's no way you can defend that. There's no way. It's pure racism. It's pure filth. They've tried to spin so many of his racist comments as they were taken out of context. This was yesterday. He said this yesterday. He put it in writing. You can't say that he misspoke, that's not what he meant, you heard him wrong. You can't say any of that. He put it in writing. He wrote a racist slur in writing and posted it on social media. He put it on the internet for everyone to see. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. Whatever our political differences are, however we feel about Mitch McConnell, this is absolutely horrifying. This cannot stand. And this man should not be walking free among us. He is a menace. He is a threat. He's a cancer on our society and our democracy. And he's got to be put away. We've got to be done with Trump. We've got to be done with this. This is it. This is it. We've got to be done with Trump. Our society has to move on from Donald Trump. He's a cancer. He's a cancer on the United States of America. And we need to be done with him. I think this might be the worst thing he's ever posted, and that is just unbelievable because he's said some really, really heinous shit. Unbelievable the type of things that this man is capable of, that this man is doing to us as a people, what he's done to us as a people.
Are you ready?
Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Nice to see everybody here. Heck of a day here in Maine. Cooler weather, but sunny as, well, hardly a cloud in the sky. And everybody seems to want to go out and enjoy the last few days of nice weather before we start getting hip deep in snow. Of course, we all know that's right around the corner because, we got, November and December, and then we're, into a new year, so we're already getting ready to prepare for the snow that's to come. But what a year it's been. And so what a day it was yesterday, for Mitch McConnell getting a mess or a tweet. Well, he didn't really get it, but it was a tweet that Trump put out and said, some pretty incredible and nasty things about Mitch McConnell. And it's not only is it really surprising to a lot of people, but not to me, but even though a lot of people are really shocked that Trump did something like this, because he's being investigated for doing as much the same thing when he started the anti-Biden campaign, that he cheated them out of the election and stuff, and all his rhetoric created this society of anger inside our country, and that led to January the 6th. I mean, all that friggin' talk that he made and everything, and not just him, but his buddies too, like Bannon and some other folks. But he had a bunch of people, a cabal, if you will, of sycophants that were taking his lead, taking what he started and just expanding on it on radio and television and stuff like that to create anger, to split the country against those who listen to Trump and those who don't. Okay? And it got to a boiling point really fast. I mean, you figure out, when he started it and what happened on January. I mean, it didn't take very long. I mean, of course, social media can be blamed in many regards because it helps to spread a wildfire quicker. Something like that, without the internet would have taken longer to manifest itself. But when you have the internet, oh, I mean, Christ, so much shit can be spewed in that regard. And I have to say it was really interesting to see how quickly, you know, using the internet can get to people's minds and make them do things and stuff like that. But it's not just really, I mean, yes, the media is responsible, the internet, but it's also the people behind that do these web pages and stuff like that create that kind of thing. And so, they have to be good at stirring shit, speaking things that make people angry. And so they go out on the air and they echo Trump's anger, and they do this day after day after day after day, and people keep tuning in, and those people watching go around and they say as much the same thing, echoing it. Before you know it, you got quite a few people there, hundreds and hundreds of people listening to this rhetoric all the time, and before you know it, they're out there, arguing with folks, beating them up, some pretty nasty shit happens. And we know now that our country is no different than any other country. We can fall prey to a scam like that, to people trying to trick us into doing and believing things. We're just as susceptible to that as Germany was during World War II. Okay, so we're not any better than any other country. We're all human beings, okay, and that should be enough to say that what they do, we can do. What they fall for, we can fall for, because we're all human beings. We all got the same flaws. So, when we went out there and we started listening to this, and a lot of the folks decided they were going to take action, and they really showed us then, just how some people just don't bother to critically think themselves out of a thing like that. They don't ask. They don't ask why. They don't ask, why should I believe this? What's your evidence? What's your proof? Okay, they don't bother with that. And the reason why we know this is because Giuliani had taken the cheating theory to 60 different court cases, and without evidence, they couldn't win any of them. All right. In fact, the lawyers were arguing something completely different. They weren't actually arguing the case that that they cheated him out of an election. They simply went there to accuse of voter malfeasance or something like that. That's what their case was. But they didn't actually present the case to the court that they had any proof that there was cheating going on. Okay. And either way, they argued it. They just didn't have enough evidence or any evidence at all to even prove that what they were saying was true. And if you got 60 court cases that all said the same thing at the end, then what more proof do you need that they didn't have proof? None of these judges wanted to waste time listening to their case. Okay, and because of that, Trump took that as, well, see what I mean about the whole country's against me, expanding on his conspiracy that everybody was after him, which is the what do we call it, the tired old mantra of the supposed victims who are out there trying to take away from us when they're when we are stopping them from doing so. They play the victim. And so when you have all this, and and there's no proof, and it all falls apart, and Trump is still out there saying the same thing over and over again, why isn't it that people don't bother and say, look, we've waited, we gave him enough time, enough of a chance to show us why he thinks what he thinks, and we're still waiting. We're still holding our breath, and he still hasn't given us threat. He's just still going around saying that. I mean, it would be no different if just some average person out on the street who dropped out of high school telling people, I graduated high school, I got a diploma, and when they ask him, well, can you get us a diploma, show us that you graduated, and we'll believe you, and he says, no, I don't have it, I don't know what happened to it, they stole it, but I graduated, and he still says this, okay? Why would we believe him? I mean, yeah, we would. I don't think anybody would believe it, right? Because his name ain't Donald Trump. But because it's just an average citizen, we give more credence to those asking for evidence, okay, than we would just listening to the notion of some individual we don't even know going around telling people he graduated from high school, okay, when there's no proof of it. So, do we have a weakness in this country for pseudo celebrities? I wouldn't even call Trump a celebrity, okay? He's a person in the public eye. We all know the name, okay? He's been involved in a lot of different things, but he's not like what you would call a celebrity, like a Hollywood celebrity, even though he tried to dabble a little bit in television. But he's not that kind of a celebrity. But he was still, when he got himself into politics, that's sort of like an inherited celebrity. Anybody that's into politics automatically becomes something of a celebrity, whether they earned it or not. They've been elected into a seat of power, and that's sort of like an inheritance of a celebrity. Okay, even though a lot of these people in there don't deserve it, okay, because they've done nothing to better the country. They've just gone there and done their bullshit, like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert, folks like that. These people wouldn't even be on anyone's radar if they hadn't been put in the positions of power that they are in. Okay, they're nobodies, but because they're sort of inherited a celebrity status. And that's kind of what Trump got. Even though he was already known, becoming president obviously elevates your celebrity status. So people in the Republican Party, they gave him more benefit of a doubt than they would, say, Ted Bundy if he said he was innocent. Okay, and the thing is that we have a problem in this country here, folks, about us and how we look at folks, other people, and what value and where our values are as a society. A lot of us put value in politics, and that's really not where it should be, okay? Because politics is a moody and untrustful thing. It's on your side one minute, and it's against you the next, okay? Especially in this country where people have term limits in higher seats and stuff like that. Which is good that there should be more of that, I think, even in the Supreme Court. But what I'm saying is that our governments are never to be trusted, okay? And you could see all the various governments we have around the world, and not one of them can anyone lay full trust to, okay? Because, like I said, the governments are moody. One minute they're on your side, the next they're against you. So, Trump and the things that he was saying, and after he lost his election, he knew he had lost. Okay, there's audio recordings of him making conversations with people where he, in a sort of a periphery way, indicated that he did lose and lost big, but he had a plan, okay, to try and trip things up in the system. And that's what led to January the 6th. Well, now here he is fighting with Mitch McConnell, who, for some reason, because Mitch McConnell didn't do something he wanted, and I can't even remember what the hell it was, but there was something that he voted on, and it wasn't what Trump wanted, I guess. And then Trump went on the attack. And now, here he does, he writes these tweets on his webpage that he created there. And he's saying what he's saying. Now, one person can argue, and this would be a valid point, that he did this in order to draw attention to his website, okay, to get people to sign up and follow him on there because of the shit that he says. Which I'm sure he's got followers, all right? I mean, he's got his sycophants, they're going to follow him. But I think that sometimes when he does and says things, he's doing it to draw attention to himself, which is what he likes, because he's got to be number one attention all the time, right? He's always got to be the forefront of every story. And yes, he may legitimately be angry at Mitch McConnell, but when you go on the air, when you go on these public platforms and you say certain things, you're living in a society where what you say on there now is going to be used against you in one way or another. Okay, it becomes public grounds. I mean, you can't copyright it and say, oh, you can't. You know what I'm saying? It's out there. It's in the public eye. It's no different than if you went outside and you just shouted into your neighborhood something. Everybody hears it, so everybody can go and report it. Well, he doesn't care about being heard. I think he realized he's in so much hot water now that things that he says on there would be like small potatoes compared to the other stuff that he's in trouble for. And so he just thinks it's all right to go out there and talk, and say these nasty things about, a person in his, well, I'm not going to say, that they're in the same league, okay? But Mitch McConnell and him have their ways of sticking it to the American people, okay? Neither one of them is really well liked in this country here, and they hate Trump more, but McConnell was never really liked, okay? And so it's no big loss to us that the two of them are kind of having this spat here. But, when you got a guy that's going around saying stuff like that on a public forum about a senator or a congressman or whoever, if they're already investigating you, they're just going to pick that up and add that to the lump of things that they've got against you already, okay? He's just handing them more shit to throw at him later on. So what he's doing isn't smart, okay? But it's all Trump, okay? Trump has never done anything intelligent since we've known him, okay? He's his own worst enemy. I keep saying that because it's true, because whenever he opens his yap and he says something, you'll find something in what he says to indicate something that he said prior as a lie, and he digs the grave deeper for him to fall into because he's breaking laws again. I mean, when you threaten somebody or an offhand threat, just say, he should be dead or something like that. I mean, that's, hey, if I'd have gone on there and said something like that in print and, said, McConnell, and I wouldn't be surprised if I got a visit from the police or somebody to come knock on my door and say, hey, you can't, So it's one of those things where Trump gets to say stuff and he's got, 3-4 million people, if that, following what he says as the gospel, and the rest of the country basically, shaking their head at what Trump said, and more people leaving his boat, okay? There's got to be a point where, all the Republicans that had any possibility of being moderate have already left his cabal, had already left the Republican Party, okay? All Trump is going to be left with here at the end of the day is the nutty loons that have always been a bane in our side in this country. That's all he's going to have left. All right. Nothing really has changed in America as far as that goes. Okay, we've always lived with these people. They've just been waiting for the right symbol, the right mouthpiece, the right voice to sound the things they believe in, and that was Trump. Okay, when Trump showed up, it was like, okay, this is our guy. Now we can come out and he can lead us to what we should do. And that's how it was, okay? But they've always been there, these kind of people. I mean, they were like the Tea Party for a while, but I guess that wasn't good enough. And they couldn't find anybody that was really of the caliber that Trump became. And, then they just kind of merged into the Trump crowd. But yes, these are Tea Party people, and we all know how those people got started, okay, and how that affected the Republican Party. I mean, the split was beginning right then when that was formed, the Tea Party. And, John McCain noticed that when he was trying to run for president, that there were elements in his own party that were really so far extreme that, they weren't even happy with him because he wasn't coming down hard on Democrats and stuff. But, he lost, and some people say that they deliberately scuttled his president as a race. I mean, I really think that's true. I think that the people that were starting the Tea Party movement at the time, had somehow, got involved in the campaign to a high level and managed to, put a monkey wrench in his chances. I mean, because they never really liked McCain in the past, because McCain would always be sort of middle of the road. He'd always kind of side with the left a little bit, side with the right, but he was always the throw a coin up in the air and see where it landed on when it came to voting for something. Okay, they didn't know where he stood, and they didn't like that about him. So he was an easy person to hate for a long time. And when he ran for president, it was clear that, not everyone in the Republican Party was going to be on his side, okay? And I think the ones that weren't on his side decided they were going to start their own little thing called the Tea Party, and that's how that all began, I think, essentially. But, it's just, like I heard somebody say, when you start your party off, your political party off on the wrong foot, okay? When you start it off on baseless lies or unfulfilled promises, okay, in order to get people to vote time and time and time again, okay, it shouldn't surprise you that your party is going to devolve into this mob mentality, okay, that it's going to turn into a big, overblown gangster crowd, essentially. Because you're abusing your voters as well as expecting them to support you. You're abusing them. You keep making them come to the polls and vote all the time, and they never get what they vote for, even though you tell them, that there's a problem here, there's a problem there, okay, when they never saw it before, but now they believe it's always been there, okay? These people only can follow you as long as their minds remain malleable and easily to trick into doing these things, okay? That's the only way they can stay in power, is to be able to fool people, okay? And this thing here between McConnell and Trump, visually, is going to reverberate through the Trumplicans party. If he doesn't like McConnell now, none of the people that follow Trump are going to like him, and McConnell's days as a majority leader or something like that are over, okay? That's it, because that's how fanatical they are. They won't care about the numerous things that he sided with them on, the Trumplicans, okay? They won't care about that. Or before Trump, it was a thing that McConnell was the one they would run to stop the Democrats. They're not going to care about that. Just because of this little thing that he put on his webpage now, they're going to take that and run with it. I'm going to say, we don't trust him, we're not going to support him, we're not going to vote for him, he's shit now. Well, now that that's going to go on, which probably you watch what happens this coming week here. Now that this is going on, you're going to see a lot of blowback here. It's going to start a pseudo civil war within the Republican Party against those people who support Mitch McConnell and those who support Donald Trump fanatically, okay? And I'm sure some of you say, well, this civil war's already been going on. That's true. But this is a worse shot, not across the bow, but actually into the bow, because he's talking about one of the other lunatic Republicans in the party who have the same motive as Trump did by stopping the Democrats at every point, okay? And now this is what he's going to get in repayment for doing that. Okay? So it's going to be very interesting to see this coming week here, how that's going to impact the party as a whole. I mean, this is all happening now just before fucking November here. Okay? This ain't a good thing to have this infighting in the party. Okay? So I really, really am going to be shocked to see, if anything further is developed out of that, or what some of the people on the Trumplican party is going to say about it. All right, let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me!
me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Once upon a time, in a place called Mzansi, the people loved driving cars everywhere. They used lots and lots of electricity and chopped down many trees for firewood. And then a very strange thing happened. The weather began to change. In some places there were droughts where before there was rain. In other places the rivers flooded. The grown-ups realized they were contributing to the strange weather. They discovered if they used clean energy and less electricity, they could save Mzansi for their children.
What happened then?
How the story unfolds is up to each and every one of us. Switch off, recycle, change. Help save tomorrow.
They're fascists. I think they want to use the power of the state to change the rest of us.
Falsely branding a political protest as an insurrection, that is the definition of authoritarianism, of fascism.
Their tactics are fascistic. The left wants power because that is essentially their state of grace.
The blackout of information by the left is pure fascism.
Turns out there are fascists in charge.
Nancy Pelosi is fascistic.
They're using, frankly, fascist policies to silence the right.
They use cancel culture as a tool to impose their fascism on us.
Well, I won't say fascists, but yeah, fascists.
This is fascism. This is fascism of the left.
You were talking about fascism. There's no other word to describe.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it. It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. Well, I'm kind of puzzled by all the hoopla surrounding the love letters between North Korea and Donald Trump. They were published yesterday, I think. They were taken out of his home down in Mar-a-Lago, and during that during that search they did down in his home, and they released them to the public. And I read some of them, and there doesn't seem to be anything there that would suggest some wrongdoing between Trump and Kim Jong-il, unless there's more to come. I don't know. But the media is making such a thing out of it, like there's something there, and there really isn't. So I'm not sure why they're doing this or what the point is, but if they're trying to suggest that something was done wrong there by talking to the guy, I don't see it. Okay, we've had presidents in the past that made deals with devils before, and the media never made such a thing out of that. So, in fact, Richard Nixon was praised for opening up trade agreements with China at a time when this country was paranoid about communism. Okay, so there's nothing there, so the people don't need to worry about the love letters as far as I'm concerned until something comes out that suggests that that the nuclear secrets that he took are somehow connected to North Korea, or, you know what I'm saying? Until there's more of a smoking gun there, there's nothing there to really nail him on that, as far as I'm concerned. There's so many things, though, that he's in trouble for anyway, that they don't really need to pile more on top. You know what I'm saying? Because he's gonna get punished for one of the 3 cases against him there that's really brewing all over the place. So his goose is cooked anyway, no matter how you look at it. Then there's an article here about Marjorie Taylor Greene, published yesterday from the Daily Beast, and it's entitled "Marjorie Taylor Greene Says Democrats Have Already Started the Killings of Republicans." Greene accused Democrats of murdering Republicans in quote-unquote killings that the lawmaker claims are underway. Quote, "I am not going to mince words with you all," unquote, Greene said at Donald Trump's rally in Warren, Michigan on Saturday night. Quote, "Democrats want Republicans dead, and they have already started the killings," unquote. To support her claim, Greene cited a recent North Dakota crime story about an intoxicated man who allegedly, quote, "had a political argument with a pedestrian," unquote, hit the pedestrian with a car, and then later claimed the pedestrian was, quote, "part of a Republican extremist group," unquote, according to court documents. During her speech, Greene added that President Biden, quote, "has declared every freedom-loving American an enemy of the state," unquote. Quote, "But under Republicans, we will take back our country from the communists who have stolen it and want us to disappear," unquote, Greene concluded. That's pretty bold talk there from a friggin' nut, okay? And remember, we got to keep in mind that she ain't all there, okay? She really isn't all there. I'm sorry to say, but, you know, there is evidence to show that she had, you know, psychological issues in her youth growing up here by the things that she says. You know, normal people don't talk like that, okay? Obviously, she, you know, probably her upbringing was tainted, you know, by alcoholic family members or some damn thing, or who knows? Who friggin' knows? With people like that, they walk around with their hands together like this, and oh, I'm for you, I'm for America, and behind your back, they're taking candy away from your kids. Okay, that's what this woman is here. And it's not enough for her that there's already a storm of bullshit going on in the Republican Party. It's not enough, okay? She's got to throw more in there, more into the fire to keep that pot stirring all the time. The Republican Party is falling apart before her very eyes, and she just don't care, because she's the reason her, Boebert, Trump, They're the reason why the party's split and falling apart. They're at each other's throats, okay? And her coming out and saying this stuff when everyone's all pissed off in the party is just the kind of rhetoric that went on prior to January the 6th, okay? That got everybody all in their panties in a wad here, all running to the fucking Capitol to go and storm the place and vandalize and search for people they wanted to kill, okay? If there's anybody that's trying to kill, we already know the Republicans have done it. This example she cited here sounds like some kind of random incident that happens every day in this country, whether it's from guns or from getting hit by a car. People are killed every day in this country by incidents that have nothing to do with the other, okay? But she's going to take that and hold that in the air. Who knows what she added to that story to make it sound more deceptive or more, more vindictive. Who knows what she put in that? But the fact is, people get into arguments all the time over politics, and sometimes they break out into fights. Is she going to take? Oh, well, the Democrats are coming at us with, bullshit. People have been doing that even before Trump was around. Okay. But now she's going to use that as a call to arms for everybody to stand up and pick up a club, a gun, a trash can lid, a flagpole, a hockey stick, and go after anybody that calls himself a Democrat and beat the ever-loving fuck out of them. That's what she's trying to do, okay? While she sits back at home in her TV, okay, all by herself, because, she's divorced now, and watches this and laughs, at how stupid the country is to just swallow everything that she throws at them, okay? That's what she's going to do. And, the thing of it is that, we got to be smarter than her. Okay, it's not enough to say we know she's full of shit, okay? We have to go around and let people know she's full of shit and why, okay? And believe me, if you dig deep enough into this woman's past, you're going to find out all kinds of crap about her that ain't going to be very nice, okay? I could tell you right now. And I don't know why the Democrats haven't done that yet, but they really should, because if we don't want people like this sitting in a seat of power in our country, then we got to show people their true colors, okay? What's under the mask? Because the Republicans are very good at doing that to the Democrats, all the friggin' time. I mean, believe me, they work overnight, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, digging through every damn person sitting in Congress, in the Senate, even the president now, okay? They're all trying to find shit to throw at the Democrats. So why can't we do the same to them? All right, if they want to play dirty, you got to play dirty to defeat them. Okay, you have to unfortunately crawl into the gutter with them and go toe to toe with them, because they ain't going to come out of the gutter for you. You got to go in the gutter for them. All right, that's how it works. And Marjorie, well, she's a part of the gutter. Her and Boebert, okay. And Marjorie is right now, she's throwing her anger out about perhaps the divorce, throwing her hysteria out into the crowd by saying these outlandish things. Now, what happens if people, after this rally, decide to go out and start beating up on Democrats? Freedom of speech? She's protected by the freedom of speech? Bullshit. Okay? Now that people know that you can incite violence in this country, believe me, they're going to keep doing it. And that's abusing that freedom, isn't it? So what's going to happen next? They're going to clamp down on people's right to say things in order to stop the violence. I mean, we can't get them to take guns out of the hands of criminals, right? We can't stop them from doing that, even though that's the answer to our gun violent problem here, our gun killing problem. We can't seem to do that. But believe me, if they're not going to defend the freedom of speech, it's going to be very easy to start curbing people's right to say certain things in public, on the internet, and stuff like that. And in order to stop these these spikes in violence in our country, because the people are so volatile right now, thanks to years and years and years of Republican propaganda, okay, by slamming the left all the time for things they never did, okay, by coming out and accusing Democrats of things that they are doing themselves, okay, and just blaming it on the left, okay. This is what it culminates into. This is the kind of society they want to exist in order to create this overthrow of the government, okay. If they can get enough of this country to side with them by getting everybody in America all hysterical, all on the same bandwagon that our government can't do a fucking thing right and it needs to be overthrown, it's so much easier now to be able to accomplish that, because they got about 25 to 30% of the country already looking at America as a problem and not a solution to anything, okay? And that began all the way back to Ronald Reagan, when he came out and said the worst things in the world to hear are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help, okay? That right there was the declaration of what the GOP was going to end up doing to this country. From that day on, they made a promise to America, okay, that your country is not going to get any help from the Republicans at all, period. We're out to destroy it from the inside out. Why? Because they don't like this country. They don't like what it stands for. They don't like the idea of helping out the poor. They don't like the idea, Social Security and Medicare and Obama. They don't like any of these things. They call it socialism. They had to put a name on it to make it sound bad. They call it socialist programs, okay? Even though they benefit every fucking day from these programs themselves, right? But they're out there trying to tell people the government doesn't owe you a fucking thing, okay? They shouldn't give you nothing. And why do they say that? Because they don't want people to pay taxes, and especially their big business buddies. They don't want to pay taxes either, all right? So they were trying to destroy the government from within, trying to separate the chain that links business in this country to government. In other words, they don't want government oversight. They don't want to follow any rules the government lays out, okay, to operate in this country. Why do you think they move their businesses to these other countries in the rest of the world? Because they don't have those kind of standards there. It's easier to pay slave labor wages to people that work there and not to pay, for environmental things and stuff like that, okay? They're making much more money that way. That's why they left here. So that tells you, to everybody in America, this is why this started back in the 80s. They didn't like this idea back then, all these things happening, okay? And they fought and fought and fought until they finally decided, we're just leaving, okay? Let the country fall apart. We're going to take our wealth, our jobs, and move it to Mexico, move it to China, move it to wherever, okay, in order to cripple this country further. And they succeeded at that, okay? I've been saying for a long time that global pact there that Bill Clinton signed was going to be the death nail to this country. And not only me, but a lot of people who followed Ross Perot said the same goddamn thing, okay, that the NAFTA Act was going to be a death sentence for this country. And it was. It crippled our economy so bad. It took time, but it did. And when you don't invest in your own country, your country gets weak. When you don't invest in education, your populace gets weak up here. Okay? So why are the Republicans so much in favor of doing both? Okay? Because it strengthens their grip on the country. When people are stupid and they're poor, okay? They're weak, and so they're less than little. They're nothing. Okay, they're ants at a picnic. That's all they are. When they have no power, when they have no critical thinking, okay, when they can't do any of that, these people are now you basically denutted them all. They've got no power. They can't defend themselves, so they don't know what to do, what to say. All right, and a population like that is easy to control. Okay, why do you think these big businesses like going to these countries where the people are so poor and not well educated? It's because these people can be tricked, duped into any damn thing, and they're going to love it. Okay, you take away everything they have, and they'll be happy for the scraps you give back to them. Okay, that's what you do to people when you're in big business. You take away everything, all the luxuries they enjoy, okay? And then you give them back little bits of it, okay? Then they're so happy that you did that for them that they all of a sudden are loyal to you. That's what Republicans want for a United States. And I don't know why. You know, the country is fine, or would be fine if the Republicans never did all the shit they've been doing for 50 years, okay? But every time they talk about, oh, the government can't do this right, it can't do that right. Well, let's talk about that they're talking about and find out what they have been doing to destroy that, so they can come out and say, oh, see, the program doesn't work, okay? Just to justify the fact that government can't work, okay? Like the post office, we'll take for instance. I mean, they've been meddling with that, all right? Social Security, they got a hard on for that fucking program, and they're gonna destroy it from within by taking money out of that. Why? Because there's a lot of money to be had in there, and they want it. So they're gonna do everything they can to make the system look like it's broken and it can't work. They tried pretty heavy during the 90s and early 2000s, but it didn't seem to work. But it sounds to me like they're going back for another round of attacking Social Security again. So you got to keep your eyes open for that. But all the safety net programs are a big problem to them. Okay, they don't work. Well, I never hear people talking about, you know, how welfare didn't save them from becoming homeless or something or something like that. You know, I feel like there's more, you know, a big picture that the Republicans are walking around with in their mind. Okay. And it's an America that is darker, it's grim, okay? There has no hope involved, you know, in the society. I mean, they want to take hope away from Americans all over the place. And if you're not born into wealth, you're never going to be wealthy. If you're born into poverty, you're going to stay there, okay, until the day you die. And that's the America they want. They don't want government really so much involved in anything. The government is there just for military and that alone, and that's it. And in fact, they may even figure out a way to get rid of that, take that out of the government's hands, and let big business take care of defending the country. You know, it's going to be like the movie 1984, okay, where there is no government. It's just a bunch of businesses doing things, okay? And that's what they want. Because if business controls the narrative, then business becomes so wealthy that there won't be any wealth for anybody else. So not only will they keep us poor, that they'll make sure that we stay poor just because they have all the money in their pockets and we got nothing. Remember that movie there, The Hunger Games? You got the super rich, you know, and then in the poor sectors. That's the America they want, okay? That's the kind of America they want, where everybody serves the rich. Everybody does their part to serve and feed the rich, okay? And what they get in payment for that is just the little scraps that they give you to make you feel like, oh, we're so lucky, you know, praise them, you know. That's what they're trying to do. That's what they're trying to whip us into. And if we let that go on, that's going to happen. And you know, we're by steps, okay? They're taking us there, you know, step by step by step. They're systematically chipping away at the flag, chipping away at the country, at the government, trying to get us into that reality. And what Marjorie Taylor Greene here is doing is another step in that direction. If she can turn the population against itself, it becomes so much easier to bring about the kind of America they want to see us living in, okay? And I don't know about you guys, but that's a horrific, I mean, that's a thought that wakes me up in the dead of night, okay? To think that we got people in this country who are hell-bent to destroy it, okay? And I have to wonder, yeah, this country isn't perfect. It's made its mistakes, okay? It's done things that not everybody liked, okay? But is it so bad? Is it so fucking bad that we actually got to tear it all apart, to shit all over it, okay? And start off with a fascist government? where in the hell do they think that a fascist government actually works for the people? Okay, maybe that's why they don't want us to study history, because they know that if we read history enough and study it, we'll find out that the kind of government they want us to be never worked anywhere in the world successfully. Okay, it always ended up in disaster. Okay, the government gets overthrown, and there's a what they call dark age for a while until some other kind of government takes its place. But it never works, because people after a while get up to here with fascism. You get them mad enough, they're going to come after you, and they're not going to care what you got for a military. They're going to come after you. Strength in numbers, okay? And so this November, when we go out and we vote, okay, let's keep in mind that we're fighting the fight that we're probably going to end up fighting many years, well, maybe a generation from now, okay? That we're taking the steps to start this fight against the Republicans to keep them from making our country into the reality they want us to live in, okay? And if we wait too long to decide to get off our ass and take steps to stop them, it's going to be 2, 3, 4 times harder for people in the future to be able to resist this government that's aching to come to be in America, okay? We have to start that process now, really. And that means, voting for the Democrat Party, voting for the left, all the way down the ticket, okay? Until the Republicans can come back to some kind of clarity and sanity and start talking English and stop sounding like they're on a world wrestling tour, okay? Until we can get common sense from the right wing, we really should not trust them right now, okay? It's like a bunch of drunks. Do you want them driving around your city if they're all drunk right now? Of course not. What you do is you take away their keys until they're sober, and then you give them back. So why don't we wait until the Republican Party is sober again and talking English and talking sense before we start listening to their side of things, okay? Right now, let's keep them out of power. That's the best thing to do with the right wing. That's the smart thing to do. And let's prove that we are smart, okay? That we haven't totally given up on our intelligence yet, and that we want civility in America and not strife and possible civil war, okay? All right, so let's end it here, and I hope I see everybody again next time. Subscribe and comment, and please keep your ears open to COVID-19 news in your local area, and monkeypox. I haven't heard much about monkeypox, so it's probably not as big a thing right now, but just keep aware of it. And treat each other nice. Just keep in mind that even through the worst of times, kindness still has an impact on people, and it doesn't hurt anybody to be nice to somebody, okay? In fact, goodness goes around a lot more than you think. When people start to feel good about each other and stuff, it's like throwing a pebble in a pond. It just ripples out, okay? So try and do that, especially since we're closing in on holiday season. Let's start getting ourselves into the mood of trying to be kind to others. And I will talk to you again later, so be well, everybody.